Hey, it's Avi from JustWriteMusic.com. Thank you so much for being here. Chances are you've enjoyed someone's music a lot. Chances also are an artist whose music you love a lot passed away at an early age. So what's the deal? If you're an artist, are you heading to an early grave or a life of pain and suffering? Stick around to find out. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and bell below for more videos helping you write better music and stay sane as an artist. So really quick exclaimer, I am not a mental health professional in any way, shape, or form. The fact is, the artist's life isn't an easy one. What's worse is many artists are woefully underprepared to operate as a one-person business and not even generate an income, just make a living, like be able to pay rent and eat. I know I say that a lot, but those are things we also need to do. Understandably, this leads to lots and lots of stress, which can create or exacerbate mental illness. Now, mental illness can take on many different forms, including depression disorders or anxiety disorders, as well as harmful behaviors like substance abuse or anger or rage, as well as self-harm. Today, I want to share a few reasons why I think musicians are more predisposed to mental illness. Now, the first thing I want to bring up regards the general lifestyle of most musicians being freelancers, and that's the lack of structure. All our lives, we are given structure. It's thrust upon us. And when we graduate high school or college and enter the job market, most jobs also tell you, hey, you gotta be here at this time or you don't have a job anymore. So you gotta be there in order to make rent. Cool, not a big deal. That's an extension of the structure that we're already used to. But as a freelancer and as an artist, that is not the case. As soon as you graduate, that's it. You're on your own. It's up to you to figure out how to get gigs and figure out how to get paid. This is especially difficult considering my second point. Now, this creates a lot of volatility in not just our professional lives, but also our personal lives. We don't always know when we're going to be working or when we're not going to be working, and we specifically don't always know when we're going to get paid. Most people receive a paycheck every 2 weeks. This is steady. This is reliable. You can count on that being there as long as you have that job. In the freelance world, it's common to not get paid until after a job is complete. And in that case, payment can still take a week or longer to even get to you. And then you also have to take into account when you're moving your money from places like Venmo or PayPal or something. Yeah, you can get it done faster, but you have to pay for it to be faster. And if you don't want to pay that 1.5% or whatever it is, then you're waiting an extra couple of days to get your money. Humans crave structure, and when not given it, our mental health will suffer. What this translates to in the real world is basically going into crisis mode every single month, just trying to pay rent. No bueno. That's literally the worst thing we want here, because we can't think clearly or act strategically if we're constantly in crisis mode. One of the main reasons this is a struggle is my second point, a lack of preparation. Now, if you're an artist or a musician, you may have went to school for that craft, or you're just starting out on your own. And in both of those cases, you probably didn't get a robust business education. This lack of training, lack of time management skills, lack of organization skills makes executing your career very overwhelming. To be fair, this is definitely getting better. When I went to college, there was a musician entrepreneurship class, which was really cool and was kind of the first of its kind, at least in my school. You're seeing this more and more in schools and colleges and in their offerings, because there is a very noticeable lack of training in this area, and it's making it harder to be a musician, which is already hard. That being said, they still leave a lot to be desired. One of the big pitfalls of self-learning and learning by trial and error is that it takes a whole lot of time. We don't need this big learning curve, but it's there. Think about it. Companies have different departments for their major activities. As a freelancer, you're a one-person business who needs to operate and execute all of those departments. Creative, marketing, payroll, customer service. These are all hats that you need to wear. Companies make these different departments for a reason, because division of labor and capitalism and all that. The fact is, if you don't learn to wear these different hats as a musician, you're going to find important aspects of your career lacking. Usually that's the money part of it. It's really easy to fall into the trap of, well, I don't want to deal with marketing, or I don't want to deal with networking. I just want to create. I just want to do my art. And I get that. I was there for a very, very very long time, and it doesn't get you anywhere, guys. I'm sorry, it doesn't. I'm talking to myself in the past. That is not possible right now. Past me. Stop being a stubborn dick. You need to find people to create for, whether those are clients, fans, a social media audience, or, the things I just said. And things are hard out there, and that's actually the third thing I want to talk about. There is a whole lot of competition. Being an artist seems really cool from the outside, which makes it a very attractive career option. But this translates into fierce competition. It's considered a dream to follow your passion and be an artist, which it is. However, it makes getting work harder when your market is saturated. This is particularly bad for beat makers, film and game composers, and performers of really popular instruments. Anybody who's ever been to an audition can tell you just how numbing and replaceable you feel when you see so many people coming out for the same job, the job that you want. If that audition pans out and you score that gig, you'll be lucky if that pays for even just 1 month's rent.
1 month's rent.
It's exhausting, time-consuming, and even just getting to these auditions takes a whole lot of legwork. Unless you're really lucky, have a great mentor who's looking out for you, are really, really great at networking and building relationships, or have really wealthy parents willing to donate big sums of money to the ensembles and orchestras and companies that you want to audition for, it's gonna be really, really hard. In fact, competition is even worse than it already was, and this is because of the pandemic. In New York City alone, 2/3 of arts and performance gigs have completely vanished. And remember, this is New York City, a major hub of art and culture in the United States. Performers honestly have it the worst. Community and connection are hugely important. Without the ability to gather, it takes down the entire industry. Now, there's one more thing I want to talk about that I kind of hinted at here and there so far, and that's genetics. Having genetic links to mental illness will often have an exacerbating effect. On top of everything we've already talked about, sometimes you inherit mental illnesses genealogically. That's how inheriting works. This can make functioning even harder. And all that growing and learning you're doing as a business also becomes more difficult. Now, knowing this is helpful because it allows us to be just a little bit easier on ourselves. Part of this is just out of our control. Radical acceptance is the name of the game here. Yes, it's hard. Yes, your brain is working against you. And yes, the odds are not stacked in your favor. There's no but. Those are all true. When you're facing a really difficult moment, acknowledge out loud the difficulty. Bring awareness to it, and by all means avoid any comparison between you and anybody else. If you're managing or struggling to manage mental illness as a musician or as a freelancer, be sure to ask your friends, not your friends, be sure to ask your close family or anybody else in your family if they struggle with mental illness or if there's a history of mental illness in your family. If you're starting from scratch with a genetic predisposition towards certain mental illnesses, that's actually a good thing. Knowing that is so powerful because you can be proactive against it and make sure you're taking care of yourself. This can honestly be the difference between burning out and calling it quits or having a sustainable and lifelong career. As musicians, as artists, it's more important than ever to talk about mental illness, to stick together and support each other. I just want to reiterate that I'm not a mental health professional, and if you're struggling to function in everyday life, I urge you to seek out help in the form of a counselor or a therapist or a trusted friend. Are you managing mental illness as a musician? Comment down below with your experience if you feel comfortable. You can also just comment with like a heart emoji or, a solidarity fist, whatever you want. Before we close out, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos helping you write better music and stay sane as an artist. That is the tagline of this channel. Brand. You can also like this video or dislike this video if you're just like, dude, I don't want to hear about why stuff is hard. I already know that stuff is hard because I'm living it. Do that too. That's fine. Also, don't dislike it though, because YouTube things. The point is, I want to hear from you. Tell me things. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me. I really hope you got something out of it. I know this wasn't the most entertaining of topics, but I do think it's important, and I do think that we need to discuss it. I'm Avi from JustWriteMusic.com, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.